and music director, and he's an organist. John has always been a colleague, and I always thought of our work here as a partnership. I have depended heavily on his wisdom, his counsel, his friendship, and all my experiences working in churches. I started singing in churches when I was 15 years old. But John has been truly my favorite musical life in all these years. John is an artist of exceptional standard. Excellence is not an accident. Excellence is a choice. And a lot of churches, the music there is kind of like hamburgers and potatoes and pot. We had a musical fair which is champagne and caviar. And again, the choice of being an excellent performer and colleague was born by that person who pays that choice. And John has spent thousands of hours in practice. He comes here on Sunday mornings all his practice. That's not the case. And I want to know John. Great honors and guests as all associated musically and personally. And I'm deeply grateful to you for all of the time that we've spent together, for all of the help that you've given me personally, working with the choirs and things. Well, this has been the apex of my experience here, John. And I'm deeply grateful to you for your artistry and your sensitivity, your preparedness, always. When you figure the numbers of notes that John has played, he's played millions of notes. Now with each note comes a margin for error. And he has been a stellar accompanist. I've always looked forward, particularly I will, whenever I sing, if I ever sing it again, A Motherless Child, I will always think of you, John. The accompaniment that you, and the Bless This House, other things that you and I have done together have been, for me, really the apex of musical experience. It's always a partnership, really. It's not someone singing, someone playing. It's a partnership, and John has been a wonderful colleague, and it will not be the same without you, John. I want you to know I love you and appreciate and respect all of the years and your generosity, your artistry, your compassion, your friendship. Thank you, John.
I don't use it. Could I have your attention just a moment? I'm off. I wasn't on the program, but I want to.
We're going to invite others who want to speak. So here you go, Lorraine. Here's a mic for you.
I don't know how to use it.
Just talk.
Okay. Okay, I have to ask you this, John, after listening to Ed and all of his comments. When you were playing the organ, did you ever have the urge to play boogie woogie?
Honest now, John, honest.
No, not here, but I have other musical tastes.
But not on this organ? And one reason I ask this is we had a pastor, years gone by, and I'll mention his name in a minute. But it was nothing to walk in there during the week and here he is playing boogie woogie. That was Wendling Hastings. If anybody can remember Wendling, and he was the most reserved person you'd ever want to meet, but he played boogie woogie on that organ.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm disappointed.
When John first told me he was leaving and I was first allowed publicly to say so, I then began saying, we'll want to have a party for you. John said, no, I don't want anything. I said, John, we're having a party for you. But I did agree we'd keep it kind of informal. So we have a couple other speakers, but I want to open the floor to others that may want to say something. Are there some others that want to say something to John this morning? I guess it's afternoon now. There's Nancy, okay.
I ask after he's done, may I speak for a minute?
Yes.
Thank you, Sharon. So, John, many years ago, on a particularly complex morning at 4th Street, you mentioned to me too many notes. That's what you said about the morning, that there were too many notes, like too many notes to play, but you were speaking metaphorically, I think, as well as in real terms. And I have carried that expression on with me. And I want to thank you because there have been so many days at work when I've just said to myself, too many notes. And that has helped get me through some kind of tough meetings and some tough days because I'll just think of you saying that, and then I'll think of how you play every single one of those notes beautifully, and how sometimes we don't know how it's all going to turn out, but by the end we know that God has made a beautiful song. And I think that you have played, so, as Ed said, so many notes here, and it has been such a beautiful song, and you have played with such passion and such artistry, and yet, and I mentioned this to you upstairs, your personality has been so even-keeled because it's never been about you. It's been about the music, and as you said to me just a few minutes ago, we're here to worship God. So I just want to share with everybody that that is Jon DeHorn. He has been here to worship God for the past 16 years, using all of his talents and all of his discipline and all of his artistry and his beautiful, beautiful personality. And let me tell you, John, it will never be too many notes for us anytime you want to come back. So thank you very much.
Okay, I have a story, and it happened some years ago. Does anybody remember Virgil Fox? Remember Virgil Fox? Okay. Well, Virgil Fox was coming here to play an organ concert. And he showed up, and of course that was before, I was a lot younger, believe me. And Virgil asked me if I could erect a frame above the organ and face it to the crowd and put a big mirror in there, so that he could see the crowd and the crowd could see him. But what Virgil didn't tell everybody, can I use the word cheated?
Sure.
Okay. Virgil was a cheater a little bit because as he's playing and he's got a couple of notes going, he reaches in his pocket and he comes up with a toothpick and he sticks it between the two keys. That keeps that two notes going. And before you know it, over on the other side, another toothpick. He had 5 toothpicks stuck in between the keys on that organ over there. And he used to play the pedals sideways this way. Now, I don't know how he got all that music with them toothpicks, but he did.
It is a trick.
Yeah.
And Harry, I'm going to interrupt you for 1 second. There were Sundays where I had pencils doing the same thing.
Everybody kneel down. We're going to pray for this man.
So I guess I'm a cheater too.
That's when you raised the bar to pencils from toothpicks. Now, I know many of you have had a chance to say something privately to John, and you still have an opportunity to do that. So, but if anybody else wants to say something publicly, anybody else want an opportunity?
John, I know all of us are going to miss your music. And in spite of all the stats that have been given here in terms of notes and thousands and millions, this kind of thing, one thing that I have appreciated so much is your variety of the musical styles. You seem to be a master at all of them. And I just had one question, and sometimes people don't like this question who are musicians, but do you have a favorite composer? Would you say you play all of these styles so very, very well?
I guess if I had to select one, it would be the person who was featured this morning, Gerald Neal, those communion pieces and the offertory. He does things that are more spectacular too, but I really like his music.
Yeah. We're going to miss all of them. The fireworks as well as the beauty of the slower pieces. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
There's one thing you probably didn't notice with what John was doing that I know because I've worked in churches before. He had a really good sense of liturgy. He never missed a cue. If he was supposed to be playing, he was playing. There was never any dead silences. And that kept the worship moving smoothly. And you wouldn't notice it because there were no spots where he wasn't playing. And there were very few times, I can think about twice, that you missed a note. In 16 years. But he helped the liturgy move like it was supposed to. He was ready always to play what he needed to play. You never had to wait for him. And that helped our worship be cohesive. So thank you.
John, although we're sad to lose you, we're grateful for all the occasions we had to hear you tease the beautiful music out of the organ. And I know that because of that wonderful demonstration that you gave, and you showed how you had to skip notes that didn't work, right? Right, yeah. But it was a great demonstration of the power of our organ. I don't think anybody has ever showed me that. I also want to thank you for your humanity. When my daughter Laura was very little and she played guitar in front of the church, I don't know if you remember this, and you helped her out of stage fright, and you told her how to breathe and be relaxed, and I'm very grateful for that. And all the other occasions you played for us.
Thank you. Mr. James coming.
When Sharon asked me if I wanted to say something, I said no because I'll start crying. So then I thought, but I remembered something very funny. Those of you who have been directed by Ed know that he starts all kinds of places in the music, sometimes at the end, sometimes in the middle. And there was one Sunday when there was some emergency and Ed couldn't be here. It was a last-minute thing. And so John stepped up to the plate right away. He moved us so that we could be close to the organ. And John said, "We're going to do something unique this morning. We're going to start from the beginning."